school football from where you live.
Welcome to the first Friday night frenzy of the football season. Can't believe it's here, man.
I know.
Tonight, scrimmage edition. I'm Rob, he's Andy. We start things off right here in West Lafayette for a rivalry game.
Yeah, let's get it going. Harrison and West Lafayette coming off two very different seasons in terms of wins and losses. The Raiders finished the 2015 campaign with a 4-6 record. The Red Devils, on the other hand, they made it to the Class 3A state championship, falling to Chitar. But what happened last year happened last year. It's a brand new season.
All right, early in the evening, B-24 flying over as part of the Wings of Freedom tour. West Lafayette, though, with the ball. Luke Talukian subbing in for Mikey Kidwell, forced outside the pocket, and hits Kyle Hazel. That name might sound familiar. The sophomore down the sideline, diving for the pylon. Red Devils get the scoring started. Harrison's turn now. It's Jackson Vanderwalen. He takes over for J. Dan Sturgeon this year at QB. And somehow, already, we are in not in mid-season form. Unbelievable.
How about that?
We'll just continue on, I suppose, with the highlights, starting at McCutcheon. Do we have those highlights?
Roll tape.
No, we'll start over. Now we have the bomber. All right, it appears we do have the right highlight now. Like I said, Luke Talukian in for Mikey Kidwell. We'll just watch his play again. It was pretty good. Kyle Hazel rolls, makes the catch here and goes down the sideline and scores. Red Devils get the scoring started. Mikey Kidwell was kind of in and out tonight with Talukian at quarterback. We'll talk to Shane Fry about that later in the show. Jackson Vanderwalen fires deep to Adam Sturgeon. Now, that's the brother of J-Dan Sturgeon, who Vanderwalen is taking over for. Again, to his favorite target, Adam Sturgeon. And he's down the sideline right in my grill. Still Harrison. Fires over to Jacob Frazier for the touchdown at the sideline. Not a whole lot of defense there. Again, we'll talk to Shane about that. But the Red Devils, solid on offense. Find Jonah Williams in the corner. That's a score. So we did have some Red Devil offense as well. Now, Harrison, take a listen to this one. We're going to just crank the volume for this. Truck stick. I don't know if you heard that, but there was a lot of oohs in the stands. All right, we don't have a final score for this game, obviously, scrimmages. So West Lafayette takes on Tri-West at home next week, while Harrison is at home against Westfield. Andy, your turn, man.
Yeah, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? Over at McCutcheon, Maverick Power out in full force. The Mavs hosting North Montgomery. The aerial attack working for Ken Frauheiger's squad. Peyton Williams hooking up with Gavin Dunbar, and the senior Dunbar does the rest. Book him for 6. Standouts Bailey Adams and Alex Parsons no longer on the field for North Montgomery. They've graduated. New faces making plays this season. Jacob Verduin rolling out and finding Jack Thompson. And the big fella picking up that yakety yak. Get this, Thompson hasn't even started high school yet. He's an incoming freshman. Coach Frauheiger teaching later on in the scrimmage. Off the misdirection, Darius Thornton on the waggle. Thornton connecting with Thomas Snyder for the touchdown. And not long after that, Williams, Dunbar. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. McCutcheon to open its season on the road against Lawrence Central. North Montgomery to face Benton Central.
Take 2, Clinton County, Frankfort Hot Dogs scrimmaging the Central Catholic Knights. The Knights pick up an easy first down on a quick flick to senior Ben Metzinger. Gets dragged down at the 30-yard line. Carlos Velasquez back to pass, and he puts a perfect spiral into the hands of Andrew Page, and the Knights are in the red zone. Kyle Onken at the helm now, and he drops back and gets a quick pass to Daniel Roach for the scrimmage's first touchdown of the evening. Hot Dogs trying to get a charge of their own going. Alonzo Chavez finds an opening and gains 7 yards on the Knights before he's wrapped up by Jake Page. Traffic jam at the line, and Trey Moeller can't execute his assignment. He goes around the far side and makes it downfield to the Knights' 10-yard line. Next week, the Knights on the road in Indianapolis at Indianapolis Marshall, and Frankfort will be taking on the Western Panthers at home.
Lafayette Jeff up at Chesterton tonight for its scrimmage. Clearly, we didn't make it too long of a drive for us, but rest assured, we will be at the school's game next Friday. The Broncos open their season at Schumann Stadium against Twin Lakes.
All right, that does it for the first half of the Frenzy. 4 games down, 5 more to go. Coming up, we'll make stops at South Newton, Logansport, North White,
and Delphi. Josh Strasser and the Oracles looking to flip the script after a 2-8 season a year ago. Highlights from their scrimmage against SEEGER when we return. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Frenzy. Our next stop, we head to South Newton.
South Newton Rebels played host to the Benton Central Bison tonight. And for the Bison, let's get right to the highlights. Number 1, Evan Stitz, looks like he's going to be tackled in the backfield for a loss, but he somehow finds a way to break free, running around about 30 yards just to gain about 4. On the very next play from scrimmage, the pitch goes to Chase Creek of BC, who fights through the defense and gets taken down right on the goal line for the score. Once again on offense, Austin Vernado with the quarterback keeper. He breaks free for a huge gain for the Bison, almost finding his way into the end zone. And on the defensive side of the ball, Benton Central looked really good tonight, holding Nate Vissering of the Rebels to no gain here. This time with the ball, South Newton wasn't so lucky. The ball is handed off to Craig Wheelock, who loses the football on the tackle. It's picked up by Benton Central. Wheelock here playing quarterback, and he hooks up with Vissering on a nice 15-yard completion, but the fumble bug hits South Newton again. This time, though, the luck falls the Rebels' way as Brady Derflinger picks it up and just waltzes his way into the end zone for the score. That is the highlight.
That is lucky. All right, at the Berry Bowl in Logansport. Do they call it the Berry Bowl in Logansport?
I have no idea.
We'll pretend that they do. The Berries hosting the Twin Lakes Indians. First possession for Logansport, quarterback Ryan Bullard calls his own number, and watch out. Bullard bowls his way for double-digit yardage. Twin Lakes didn't allow too many of these runs, however, tonight. Few and far between. On offense, Twin Lakes running back Chris Goodlow takes the handoff and smashes a few berries, but he gets a minimal gain. Both teams stifled the run in this one. Berry ball now on the 1-yard line. The give is to Tucker Platt. Colt World Series star goes splat in the end zone for one of the only touchdowns of the scrimmage. On the next possession for Logansport, Bullard rolls out, hits Dustin Wilson, picks up a first down on one of the longest passes of the day, and that's telling because that wasn't very long. Both teams had so much fun, so everyone was a winner today, right? Twin Lakes will be at Lafayette Jeff next week. Logansport heads to Peru.
The Seeger Patriots scrimmage Delphi tonight, and before the game, Oracle head coach Josh Strasser guaranteed the Oracles would not lose. Patriot ball, and the QB calls his own number, sheds a few tacklers, and scampers to the nice gang. Both teams moved the ball very well. On the following possession for Delphi, the Oracles hand it off to Noah Abbott, and Noah arcs his way around one defender, then cuts it back upfield for some serious yak. Keeping it on the ground, the Oracles give it to Brandon Freeman, who plows through a host of Patriots for a big gain. And one play, or the final play of the scrimmage, Seeger drops back to pass, but Delphi's Isaac DeKalb gets the strip and the recovery to seal the scrimmage victory. The Oracles will shed their rubber helmet protectors next week when they host Bowman Academy. Seeger will host Rockville.
It's a victory if you say it's a victory, right? All right, in Monon, the North White Vikings hosted the Rensselaer Bombers. Jake Quassabarth takes a snap, sees no open receivers, so he rolls out to his left with the defender on his tail, but he can't shake him. Sacked in the backfield for a loss of 10. Looking for redemption now. Quassabarth takes a snap, makes a shovel pass to the tight end Gatlin Phelps. Insert Michael Phelps Olympics joke. Not even the photographer can keep up. Sails in the red zone to give the Vikings great field position. Now Quassabarth dropping back and fires it downfield to Tyler Hook for the touchdown. A few plays later for the Bombers, Eli Hickman hands it off to Ryan Webb, who bobs and weaves all the way down to the end zone for the score. Rensselaer opens the season at Kankakee Valley next week. North White on the road at Taylor.
That's all 8 games of our scrimmage edition of the Friday Night Frenzy. When we come back, West Lafayette head coach Shane Fry will join us in the Coach's Corner.
The Red Devils start the season at home next week. We'll talk more about tonight's scrimmage against the Raiders on the other side of the break.
Friday Night Frenzy on News 18. High school football from where you live.
Welcome back to the Frenzy. Joining us tonight, West Lafayette head coach Shane Fry.
Sorry you had to watch that fiasco of highlights to start the show. Well, talking about your scrimmage, it seemed a little sloppy at first. There were some penalties early on. Is that just kind of how scrimmages go? You just kind of trying to iron out the kinks, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we want to get better. That's the goal of the scrimmage, both teams. To be honest, I don't even know what some of the penalties were because it doesn't really matter. We'll see it on film and we'll get it corrected. It's not, if you get in a hole 2nd and 30, it's no big deal.
Yep.
How do you assess a controlled scrimmage?
Play by play. We'll watch them on film. We had a lot of guys, that's their real first varsity action against another team. So it's good to get them on film and for some of them, they're not going to like what we saw. We saw a lot of bright spots also. So it's very beneficial to watch him on film.
Now, Mikey Kidwell, obviously, he's a pretty important part of your team, so he just kind of saw some limited snaps tonight. Is it just kind of because it's a scrimmage and you wanted to get some more guys in it, like Luke, obviously?
Yeah, yep, we want to see Luke have some reps. Also, with the rules of the scrimmage, you're only allowed to play guys so many consecutive snaps.
Okay.
Thankfully, we're deep enough where we can sub and put some different guys in different places to make sure we're following those rules.
You mentioned your depth. You lost 20 seniors from a year ago. Do you see, I know it's very early, but do you see any similarities between this year's team and last year's team that made it to the finals?
Similarities in that our kids are driven. They want to do their best. They want to succeed, but also a very different team. We've got a lot of returning starters, but the ones that aren't returning starters are brand new faces. So we got guys that have been there, done that. We got brand new guys. There aren't a lot of in-between guys. But it's fun. I mean, even the guys that haven't been there, they have at least seen it. They just haven't been out on the field, and they're coming along nicely.
Just like every year, you guys have a really tough schedule to start the season, once again.
Yep.
No surprise. What are you guys going to have to do to come out with a win? Tri-West to start, and obviously McCutcheon after that.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Tri-West right away, man, they were good last year, and they're really, really good this year. We've got to execute, obviously, on both sides of the ball. We do have depth, but up front on both sides, we don't have a lot of depth. It's our skills that we have a lot of depth. So we need to find the right guys in the spots on the O-line and the D-line, figure out who it's going to be, and let them go.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us. Best of luck next week, obviously, against Tri-West. We'll see you then.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Coach. Make sure to check out our website, WLFI.com, and click on the sports tab for all highlights from tonight's scrimmages.
Have a great night. We'll see you next week.